Hello, and welcome to this edition of Young Montgomery, Montgomery County's youth-oriented show where we highlight the accomplishments of our county's youth population and bring you information about some of the county's programs for young people. I'm Alicia Escoto.
And I am Daniel Menéndez. If you're a high school student in Montgomery County and might be interested in improving your leadership skills, there is a local nonprofit organization that trains the leaders of tomorrow. Stay tuned to our show today, because we have with us an outstanding group of students who are part of Youth Leadership Montgomery.
Youth Leadership Montgomery is one of the programs offered by Leadership Montgomery. It is intended to develop leadership skills and community awareness for MCPS high school students entering grades 9 through 12.
Alicia, let's introduce our guests. Here we have Brooke Nasselt, Gaia Jinsey, and Jorge Corrales, all high school students in MCPS. Welcome to Montgomery, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So let's start off. How did you hear about Young Montgomery?
Well, for me, it was from our parent resource teacher, Miss Ray, who's actually a really nice lady. She works a lot with the Hispanic community, and well, she kind of like took me out of class and told me about it, and right then and there we applied together, and yeah.
I had a friend who was in the program. I applied late because I thought it was a really good program after Maryland Leadership Workshop, and I really enjoyed it.
I also heard about it through a friend who graduated the year before.
That's great. Once you guys heard about the program, though, how did you join Youth Leadership Montgomery? Did you have to apply and possibly interview for this program?
Well, you had to send an online application, and then after that you had to get 2 teacher recommendations, so it wasn't really that hard to do.
Was your experience the same as well?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
So once you found out, how did you find out you're accepted? Was it by email or something? And were you excited? How'd you feel afterward?
It was very exciting for me because I had applied late into the program, so I wasn't guaranteed admission. But I thought it would be a really good chance to grow my leadership skills, to gain skills that that people my age, my peers, would not normally have.
Well, same for me. I applied late, so it was kind of iffy whether I would get in. So when it came in the mail, I was actually really excited and also a little bit nervous because it also was tied in with MLW. So I learned how to go away for a week. That was a new thing for me.
Yeah, I heard as well through the mail, and I was excited for the week-long camp program that we were going to do during the summer.
Now, you guys just mentioned that program during the summer. So the first part of Youth Leadership Montgomery is the Maryland Leadership Workshops. Tell us a little bit more about this program. Tell us about what you experienced.
Well, you go to college campus, Washington College in Chestertown. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, and you go there for a week. You kind of get a bit of campus life. You learn, you meet people, you make friends, you learn about leadership, stuff like that.
They actually have a sort of personality test where they split you into groups for the Maryland Leadership Workshop, and I happened to get into a very nice group. All the people in my group were really friendly. We learned a lot really well, and we really bonded. It was very nice.
Yeah, MLW was just like any other summer camp I'd gone to before, except it had a twist of leadership and learning different leadership skills. But it had the same camp vibe where you had your camp counselors, your other group members, and we did fun camp activities throughout the week as well as learning a lot about leadership.
So it was, as I recall, was it like 5 days just about of, how did feel, was it the first time that you guys have been outside, like, no, not outside, but rather, first
away
time
from
good,
home.
away from home, there we go, away from home in a summer camp, or was this not like your first time?
Yeah, for me it was the first time I'd been away for a whole week by myself, and I think as well as a lot of the group members I was with, but it made the experience even better that we were all doing it together and learning together.
Yeah, I'd say it was like about 6 days, almost a week. And for me, it was like the first time I was in a kind of foreign environment. Like you just had to make all new friends. I didn't know anyone, and yeah, that was how it was for me.
I had watched my sister go through the middle school version of Maryland Leadership Workshop, and she doesn't do well away from home. So I was really scared that I was going to go through the same thing, but it turned out really nicely. I enjoyed it.
It's nice to hear that you guys had a really good experience as part of this workshop. Did you like kind of getting a little glimpse of what college campus life is like? Because this is a program that kind of gave you an idea of what it's like before even going to college. Did you enjoy that part of it, or do you think you'd maybe Are ready for the next step?
I liked the independence a lot. It felt good to just not be tied down, kind of. Like I only texted my parents like once, and like, so that was, I liked the independence and the freedom it gave you, but also at the same time, I have a good relationship with my parents, so like it's not like I want to get away from them right away.
Right.
I don't have a yearning, I guess, for it. So.
Well, I called my parents every night because I'm a bit of a homebody, but we did so many things throughout the day that we would get home very late. I would call them almost 10 p.m., which was when lights out was, and that was very interesting, jam-packed day.
Yeah, living on the college campus for a week, you really got to understand what it was like to have a dorm mate and to share a bathroom, which I haven't really had much experience with, which is different, but I guess it helped a lot since I'm going to college next year.
So before we go on, I hadn't participated in the program, as we had talked before we actually started, but what were some of the leadership activities that you actually participated in? I know one time we played some sort of, I don't remember what it's called, Mingle, and it was supposed to teach us, I don't remember what it was supposed to teach, but it was supposed to teach us something, I know that.
We played that too. There were a lot of social games, social workshops that were very key in unlocking, say, public speaking skills or communication skills. And they were disguised as games usually. I don't remember exactly what we did, but I know they did help me.
Yeah, there was one that kind of like built your confidence too. There was like they picked the word, for example, and you had to know a song with that word in it, and you had to sing it too. So like I ended up being the one that knew all the songs, but like I had to sing it too. That's the thing. So that took me out of my comfort zone completely. I had to sing in front of everyone, and I mean we won, but yeah, and it built me some confidence. So that was great.
Yeah, during the camp we also learned about some secondary leadership skills such as understanding diversity and other people's cultures. So we played something, I guess you could call it a game, but it was much more serious than that because we would all stand on a line and they would have different phrases where it's like, I only have a single parent, and you would step forward if you do have a single parent, step backwards if you have both parents, and you really got to understand the other group mates and what they'd been going through too.
Well, thank you guys for telling us a little bit about these experiences during the summer. I know you guys had a lot of fun, and these are great experiences, especially even before you're maybe a senior, because that way you get to know what college life will be like, and it also gives you experiences in leadership. But we're going to take a short break, and we will return with these Youth Leadership Montgomery participants to talk about their learning experiences in the program. Don't go away, Young Montgomery returns.
Yeah, salad on Saturday, fruit on Friday, throw a ball Thursday. Water Wednesday, touch your toes Tuesday. Let's move Monday, swap us next Sunday. 60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. So keep them active and eating well every day. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
Did you know there are more than 10,000 county government phone numbers? But there's only one number you need to remember for non-emergency calls, 311. MC 311 is Montgomery County government's online telephone information system. Need information? Have a problem or complaint? Trying to locate a county government facility? Call 311. The call center is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The website is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Hey, mister, down here. You illegally passed the stop school bus. I'm placing you in timeout, and this timeout means big fines, plus you really could have hurt somebody. That's why school buses are being equipped with video cameras to help kids like me stay safe, so respect the bus.
Montgomery County wants to thank everyone for their commitment to recycling. Together, we're recycling 57% of our waste, and we know you'll work with us to reduce waste and recycle more, 70% by 2020. To protect the environment and provide a better future for our children, we need to recycle all of our paper, cans, bottles, containers, scrap metal, and more. Because if you don't get serious about recycling at your apartment or condominium now, it's going to come back and bite us.
Welcome back to Young Montgomery. Our guests are a part of Youth Leadership Montgomery, a two-part program based on a partnership with Maryland Leadership Workshops, with the mission of providing participants with the necessary leadership skills to enhance their schools and communities. Let's talk about your learning experience in Youth Leadership Montgomery. First, what skills do you think you've learned by taking the program?
Well, one of the speakers that stuck out to me a lot was a speaker who talked to us about failing forward. The idea of learning from your mistakes, not just getting up after you've fallen, but getting up, finding out why you fell in the first place, and not falling again. And that was a very interesting seminar. I learned a lot from it.
An important skill that I learned throughout the program was the skill of public speaking, as well as understanding others' points of view. And so I'm a captain of my high school soccer team and the head attorney of my school's mock trial team. And so leading into my senior year, I knew I had these positions, and going through Youth Leadership Montgomery, going through the program, it really helped me to harness these skills to be able to bring together the team and lead us to victories and such things like that.
I think it definitely would help us in speaking. That's one of the most important things. For example, we all had a project to do at the end, and we had to usually present it to some people, pretty important people. Ours was with the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, and I had a big stake in that because I had a part to present and also helped a lot with that. So just communicating with people, which is super important in life, that's something that it really helped a lot with.
I know we had mentioned earlier that this program is for MCPS high school students, but I just realized that this program is actually for students all over Montgomery County, not just in the public school system. That's great. But regarding this program specifically, what other issues did you learn about in your community? Not just skills were you learning, but you were also learning about your communities at large. Can you guys tell us a little bit about that?
Well, one of the issues facing our community was there's been a large influx of students coming from Latin America, and usually students are they need some kind of direction. We need to help them out because usually they don't speak that much English, and sort of their opportunities are diminished because of that. But there was some nonprofit organizations that came to help us. They told us what they were doing to help these students. Also other issues like how people nowadays they glorify drug use and alcohol and all these kinds of things they define themselves with that, and we try to show an example how we could lead by example and kind of make that better.
Yeah, adding on to that, we learned a lot about the issues of high school dropouts throughout the county, and a nonprofit came to us who helps to lower those numbers, which I was unaware of how it was such a large problem, because all you hear about with MCPS and the school system is how great we're doing, but it really showed a different side of the school system that needs help.
I know in MLW we learned about drunk driving, which is a very very relevant issue in our day and age, and we had a police officer come in and speak to us about a personal story where his girlfriend was killed by a drunk driver, and we had a presentation on how we could raise awareness for drunk driving and stop it. We ended up coming up with the idea of a fair where we would have people using the drunk goggles where you see as though you were drunk to see how difficult it is to drive with those, and other events like that.
Well, I know near the end of the program, you have to allocate funds to a certain nonprofit of your choosing. I know that it's difficult considering that there is double-digit numbers of students. I know in mine we had 15 students that we had to choose, and we ended up just dividing between all of us, the lump sum between all of us, and just choosing each individual person. So how'd you resolve the conflict of so many people having different interests?
We sort of had, we were split between these two groups. One helped teenage mothers, and the other helped new arrivals from Latin America. And we weren't sure how to split it, so we had kind of advocates for each side. I was one of the advocates for for the group that helped teenage mothers. And we kind of, it was hard. We had to kind of debate it out. But at the end of the day, we had, like, in my side of the group, we had to come to the conclusion that maybe that funds would be better allocated for the other side. So, it taught us to compromise, pretty much.
Well, in my group, we ended up having a group vote on what each person wanted to do. And it surfaced that there are a few factions in between which organizations people wanted to donate to. So leaders would step forward and present each nonprofit as they saw fit and why those funds would be better used on them. And we ended up coming to an agreement, and it was very diplomatically handled.
It was similar in my class in how the decision was diplomatically handled. Everyone was able to speak to their viewpoints and what organization they thought was most fit, but it was an overwhelming majority that our class wanted to donate to PODARE, which helps dropouts at Gaithersburg High School.
I know you guys are quite largely involved in your communities, but how do you feel about civic engagement now that you participate in a program? Do you feel the need to be even more active in your communities, or possibly not just now, but also in the future?
Well, after Youth Leadership Montgomery, I joined a couple of other groups for youths, such as LearnServe, which helps teach adolescents business skills and start their own not-for-profits, because I was really inspired by YLM's dedication to doing good in the community. So I decided to take it another step forward, and I'm now starting a not-for-profit for addressing the inequality of education between genders.
Yeah, after completing Youth Leadership Montgomery, it became much more natural to step out of my comfort zone and join other organizations, because I had just learned all these skills and it just came naturally to want to help others.
I think this program definitely fosters some kind of civic pride. Like, for example, we had the Chesapeake Bay Foundation project, like I said before, and for that, we started. It not only like gave us something to work towards, but it also gave us it also showed the Chesapeake Bay as sort of like a jewel of our region, and it gave me an ecological mindset that wasn't there before.
It's great to hear that you guys are so active in your communities, and thank you guys again for just being an active part of Montgomery County. But there's more to be shared with this group. When we come back, we will find out what a day in Youth Leadership Montgomery looks like.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Here we go. We're gonna make some juice.
It's gonna be good.
She's excited. A little bit of kale.
Please don't put this on line.
I'm putting it all over the line.
It's wet. It needs something. No, it'll go.
Don't break my juicer. Looks good.
You ready to try it?
Come on, baby.
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
It's okay.
Okay, all right.
They might surprise you.
She took another sip. You saw it?
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
In Montgomery County, we have a goal to reduce waste and recycle 70% of all waste by 2020. By recycling and reducing waste, we save natural resources and make our community even better. So recycle at home, work, school, everywhere, and keep recycling going. For more information, call the Montgomery County, Maryland Division of Solid Waste Services at 311 or visit montgomerycountymd.gov/recycling.
Keep it going. Recycle more now.
Today, 1 out of every 4 American kids is Hispanic. That means many of the future doctors who will care for us, the engineers who will build our cities, The scientists and entrepreneurs of our country can be your kids. We all know how hard it is for you to send them to college. This is why we want you to know you are not alone. And every day, more people support you to make it happen. Many support you. And the Hispanic Scholarship Fund helps you prepare, plan, and pay for your kids' college education. Learn more at hsf.net.
Welcome back to Young Montgomery. We want to know what the Youth Leadership Montgomery participants do when they meet as a group. So, just describe to me, what does a day in the life of a Youth Leadership Montgomery participant look like? Particularly like the actual program itself.
Well, it's usually on a weeknight every 2 weeks or so, and so the days that we have it, we come, we eat dinner. It's always provided by Youth Leadership Montgomery, and then we lead into a guest speaker or an organization that comes to speak to us about their cause.
We would usually start out either in the morning or, like Brooke said, after school, or sometimes on the weekends for a few hours. And we usually have a really interesting speaker, and we'd have good food to eat. And yeah, we met with it was a smaller group than MLW, and it was from our own county, and it was usually like 10 to 15 people.
We had the same experience. We met over weekends, and they'd give us dinner, and then we'd have speakers and discuss the speakers. Sometimes the speakers even stayed to answer our questions, and that was always really nice.
Well, we also know that a lot of the classes for Youth Leadership Montgomery are very diverse. Can you tell us a little bit maybe about something that you learned from your different classmates?
Well, diversity was a great thing in Youth Leadership Montgomery in that it's open to grades 9 through 12. So there are both people who are younger than you as well as people who are older than you. So there were some girls who were seniors in my class, so I was able to ask them when they were going through the college application process and other things, and they would give me good advice. And there were also other participants who were younger than me, and I was able to give them advice going into junior year and taking different AP courses and things like that. So the bonds stretch far beyond just the program.
It was so cool to see how there was a lot of guys and girls there that were really involved in community already. So it's good to see that kids aren't just apathetic; they actually want to make the community better. Like there was kids that were in Poder already. There were kids involved with that were volunteer firefighters. They were already budding environmentalists. So it was really cool to see that.
It was nice to see people from different socioeconomic backgrounds, different races, different genders. They made sure to include, like she said, a lot of diversity, and a lot of diversity in what we were learning.
Well, I think one of the important things that we learned out of this program is that leaders don't always have to be conspicuous. They don't always have to be, sometimes the best way to lead is by, just letting others lead. And I think that I'm gonna go into school for biology. So I don't know if I want to go to medical school after that, if I want to teach. But I think by being a good example, by either being a good teacher or just taking care of people well, that I can set a good example for the youth so that they can follow, in my footsteps.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They taught us that you don't have to be a person in position of power to be a leader. You can be a leader as a teacher. We've all had a teacher who's been a very good experience for us, and they were a leader in our lives. And you can lead from behind. You can lead by being a researcher, being a top researcher in your field. You can lead really from any direction you want to.
Yeah, Youth Leadership Montgomery definitely emphasized that to be a leader, you don't have to have power, especially as young people, we don't really have very much power, but we can still be leaders throughout our community by being energetic and having passion for different things. And so I see myself as a leader and leading the field of engineering in the future as I go to college and other different facets for everyone else.
And after completing this program, what do you feel is just the best part about graduating from Youth Leadership Montgomery? What do you think maybe is just the most exciting part of graduating?
Well, for me, I definitely think one of the exciting things from graduating from Youth Leadership Montgomery is that you're a part of this huge family. No matter where I go, I always find people who have also graduated from a different Youth Leadership Montgomery program or the Senior Leadership Montgomery program, because there's so many programs that Leadership Montgomery puts on. And so I've just always met someone everywhere I've gone that's also been a part of it. And it's a great conversation starter, and we have great similarities when you meet someone like that.
Definitely, I say that it was a great feeling of accomplishment, and I made a lot of good friends that I'll never forget. So
It really catapulted me into community service and being a lot more involved in everything that I was doing, because I learned all the communication skills, the people skills, the business skills, the personal skills that I needed to really succeed and chase the goals that I hadn't had the skills to do so before.
So Youth Leadership Montgomery and its parent, Leadership Montgomery, has been around for around 25 years, and it's been built on a basis of making new leaders, and actually some of our elected officials are actually participants of the core program. Do you see yourself participating in the core program as well down the road?
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely see myself participating, because you can definitely always learn more about leadership and how to be a leader. And what we learned in Youth Leadership Montgomery is relevant to me right now and the coming years. But then when I have a career, it will be more relevant to go back for the core program and learn more skills that will further catapult my career.
I agree completely with what Brooke said. Like, I think that these skills are like lifelong skills. They're not just something you learn when you're a kid. Like, you'll take with them for the rest of your life, and you can always like refresh on them and just learn new things from the program.
Well, leadership is a lifelong process. It's not a one-off. It's not just people skills. It's not just knowing yourself. And knowing yourself, knowing others is really something you learn forever. So whether or not I'm part of the program, I will continue to learn.
Can you guys tell me maybe one thing from each of you about how this program has changed as an individual?
I'd say it built my confidence more, made me more outspoken. Like, I think without this, like, before I would have, like, I'm an introvert, so it would have been, like, I would have shied away from things like debate, for example, or It's Academic or Quiz Masters, where you have to be on TV. So for things like that, it actually helped me a lot, and I think it's been relevant definitely this past year.
It's definitely changed me as a person in terms of my confidence in my ability to, say, run for student government elected office, because I always thought, oh, I don't have the public speaking skills, I don't have the communication skills, I don't really know how to talk to people. But Youth Leadership Montgomery really showed me how to, if I didn't have those skills and they didn't teach me those skills, they taught me how to gain those skills, or they taught me those skills and they taught me how to use them. And it really helped me in terms of my schoolwork, my growth as a person, and that's something I'll carry with me forever.
Yeah, I agree. And also, Youth Leadership Montgomery really helped with my self-awareness and awareness of the community around me, and being aware of different issues that are occurring and different ways to solve them.
Well, we really appreciate you guys being on the show today. We hope you had a great time learning about these fine young students that represent us well here in Montgomery County. For more information on Youth Leadership Montgomery, visit leadershipmontgomerymd.org and click on Youth. And don't forget that this year's Youth Leadership Montgomery deadline is May 1st.
And please remember that if you're an active youth in Montgomery County, you too can be featured on our show.
That's right. Whether you're part of a club, sports team, community group, or nonprofit organization, we want to hear what you do to have a positive influence in our community.
So just contact us directly on our Facebook page, Young Montgomery. Send us a message and let us know what you do. That's it for this edition of Young Montgomery. I'm Daniel Menéndez.
And I'm Alicia Escoto. Thank you for watching, and until next time.
Be active, Montgomery.
Starting today, you can be active and treat yourself to a wide array of great activities offered by Montgomery County Recreation. With 4 indoor aquatic facilities and 20 community rec centers that offer exercise and weight rooms, you'll find everything you want, from sports and fitness to senior activities, from cooking to dancing, classes, trips, and tours. Yes, starting today, you can work toward a healthier lifestyle. Learn a new skill, relax a little, or just meet new people. Visit our website to see all the exciting programs, activities, and classes available to you. And
are you sure they can recycle us, Clamshell?
Hey, Dome, we're on a new recycling postcard.
I can't wait to make a new start. Maybe I'll be a red carpet at a big premiere.
And I'll get to paint the White House.
Shh, here he comes.
Now you can recycle more plastics in Montgomery County, including #1 PET plastics such as clamshells, deli containers, trays, lids, domes, and cups.
We're in!
For more information on recycling, contact the Montgomery County, Maryland Division of Solid Waste Services at 311. The wait is over. Recycle more plastics today.